Hey guys, today I thought I'd talk you through my plan for my first ultramarathon. So I signed up to my first race, which is at the end of August. I'll talk you through exactly what race I've signed up to at the end. A little bit of suspense for you, but I'm really excited about it. And I sat down the other day and thought about what things I'm going to be doing or kind of implementing to try and make it a success. For some context, my name's Molly. I'm 27. I live with my boyfriend and my 2 cats in the Cotswolds in like a cottage that we rent, as you can see. So I am not a kind of typical runner, I suppose. It's not like I did it when I was younger. So I went from this, basically like a very unhealthy, unhappy person, and then after 2 years now I'm here. So I love going outdoors and I love spending my time outside running. I also like hiking and climbing and things like that, but running is kind of my focus at the moment. So I've got 6 things that I'm going to be doing over the next 6 months as I train, and I thought I'd talk you through them. I'm really looking forward to bringing you guys along for the journey. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be a really fun 6-month build. I think it's going to be really challenging, and I think it's going to really test me and my body as well. I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are too. I've relocated back to my working setup. So the first point is having a considered training plan and community. So I've been building my base up for the past few months. I'm running about 35 miles a week at the moment, which is pretty good for me. I normally sit around kind of 25, and I've been kind of slowly building that up over the past couple of months. But I'm really excited that I'm working with a running coach for this. So basically going to be like a group of us. So I think she said there should be about 15, including me, people doing the same race. And she'll give us like individual training plans and coaching, but we'll have monthly meetups for like a social run and things like that. And I think having other people around me will actually be really helpful, because I'm quite motivated. Like I don't really struggle to get out and get the runs done unless the weather's like super crap, which it pretty much always is here. But most of the time I'm okay, and I can kind of push myself to do it. But I do miss, I've never really had it, so I've always run alone. But I think that I'd really enjoy probably running with other people and having like other people to talk to about it and stuff. Because at the moment I do probably like 99% of my runs alone, which is like, don't get me wrong, I like being alone, but sometimes you just need a bit of company, especially if those kind of longer days out. So yeah, I'm really excited. She seems really nice. We're going to get started in March. So I think just having her as kind of like almost like a sounding board, because the training that she is going to set me sounds very similar actually to what I was kind of thinking of setting myself. I basically was going to use like a book to inform my own training, but sometimes you just need an ear to kind of tell you like, no, what you're doing is right, keep going, or like, you know, pull it back a little bit. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think it will be really good. We've got a 6-month plan, so I think that's a really good amount of time to get to the distance. And yeah, I think it will be great. I'm really excited to get going now. So my next point is about kind of tuning into your own body. So I've got a lot better at this over the past few months. I think I used to use a training app, which was it was good, like especially I think when you're a beginner, they're pretty good to kind of give you an idea of where to start, how to structure a training plan, things like that. Like I would say, without using the training plan, I definitely wouldn't have got started, because I wouldn't have known where to start. So it was really great for kind of then. However, I think I'm the kind of person that if there's a plan in front of me, even though my body is screaming out, don't do it, I'll ignore it and do it anyway because it's on the plan. And that was quite hard for me to step away from when I'm using like an app or something which uses an algorithm to kind of decide the training. I stopped using it after I used it after my marathon last year for a 5k improvement plan, which it was great for, because I hadn't really done that much speed work. But after that I stopped using it and started training myself, and it was a bit of a learning curve, to be honest. Like at first I definitely wasn't really at all in tune with how I was feeling, knowing when to push it and when to not. But I think just through basically trial and error over the past few months I've got a lot better with it, and I know that sometimes it's really not worth it in terms of like a training benefit to push myself through a really tough day. I think tuning into your body is really hard, just generally, but also if you're a runner particularly so. And it takes a lot of practice, to be honest. I'm definitely still learning, but I'm going to keep trying to learn more about myself and just get to know myself. If you're a woman as well, I think tracking your cycle is really helpful. I don't really like cycle sync or anything with my training. I just kind of do it like how I want to. But I would say if I know, for example, for me, actually around my period I'm okay. It's usually about a week before that I feel really weak and quite tired and stuff. I use an app called Stardust, which is obviously a cycle tracking app, but you can put in your symptoms. It gives you like predictions each day. It also has a little bit of humour in it, which is always quite appreciated. And you can share it with your partner as well, so it will basically give them a nudge and they can check kind of where you are at in your cycle, just so they can look after you a bit better, I suppose. Which I found really helpful and often gives us a bit of like a giggle as well. It also has just the right amount of like woo in it. So it talks about, well, if you scroll down on the page, you basically can see like what the moon's doing and things like that. It's just really good, so I'd recommend it. It's free as well. But having that information as like a female or someone with a period who trains is really, really helpful. So yeah, I'm going to basically just keep going with that and keep trying to tune into how I'm actually feeling. I try and keep a record of how my runs go and feel on Strava as well. I really encourage you to do that as well, because you can kind of start to identify like any patterns that are happening. We've relocated. I'm on my yoga mat still in my office / recovery room. Perks of having a small house, but one of my other goals is to focus more on recovery. So at the moment I have a pretty solid base of recovery. I use the sauna a couple of times a week. I eat pretty well. I sleep about 7.5 hours a night, which is obviously pretty good. But I want to basically try and build on that and improve it where I can. So in terms of sleep, I'm gonna try and keep a more consistent bedtime and wake up. At the moment they're pretty inconsistent, like I get up early sometimes and sometimes not. So yeah, I'm going to try and have a bit more of a routine where possible. Obviously life happens, but where possible with that, and see if that helps me feel a bit more rejuvenated. So I often wake up pretty tired. With the sauna I'm going to carry on. I might add in a bit more sauna because I do just love it. Like I find mentally it makes me feel pretty good, especially because it's been really cold in the UK recently, especially running outside. I feel like sometimes my bones are cold, and the sauna really helps actually with making me feel warmer through the day. But I think probably the main thing that I'm going to be adding in terms of recovery is actually yoga, hence the mat. I used to go to yoga quite a lot, so I would go probably every other day. I was part of a studio, so I'd go to in-person classes, and I loved it. It was at quite like a dark place for me, like mentally, so it really, really helped and kind of brought me out of it actually. I think that was the time which I stopped needing, I should say, like my mental health medication that I was on for years and years and things like that. So it genuinely was like life-changing for me. Yeah, I went religiously for quite a while, and then when we moved I kind of fell out of it because there's not a local what would you call them, studio near me, and I'm definitely like an in-person kind of girl with yoga. Like I like a teacher and like a classroom environment and kind of having like a separate place to go and do it. However, I realised the other day when I went and did the class that I was actually really missing out. It made me feel really great, to be honest. Like I felt fantastic afterwards, and I also realised my body is really tight, and I'm not going to say immobile, but I'm quite flexible, so actually it was quite a noticeable difference from my usual. Obviously all the running and stuff, I've just been like pounding my joints and things, so I don't feel very supple at the moment. Yeah, I'm basically going to stop making excuses and just do it at home. There's so many resources online. Like I really like Yoga with Adrienne. She does a lot of like 30-day challenges and stuff, but I'm going to try and add in yoga at least once a week, if not twice, and I think that will really help both physically but also mentally. And also the final thing with recovery is I think when I'm resting, as in like when I'm at home resting, to actually have that as a proper rest. At the moment I spend a lot of time on my phone. I installed an app the other day called Roots, which basically tells you about your screen time and where you're spending your time and things like that, and it was quite shocking actually. And for me, it doesn't really give me any relaxation like mentally, so I'm basically going to try and cut down my screen time and spend my downtime doing stuff that actually makes me feel relaxed. Like I really like reading, as you can see from my bookshelf. I have quite a few hobbies, like climbing, things like that. I've quite a few hobbies that actually bring me a lot of more relaxation than just scrolling does. So yeah, I've got quite a solid little recovery plan. I'm quite looking forward actually to hopefully feeling a bit more, not rested, but a bit more at peace, a bit more at peace in my head. So I already mentioned about doing yoga, but I think the really important thing for me going forward is introducing some more kind of running specific strength training. So at the moment I am doing strength training, but it's more like general fitness strength training with some little physio bits added on to the end. But I'm basically gonna try and incorporate a few more running based exercises in there, a lot more single leg things, some stuff for my ankles, stuff for my knees, stuff for my arms, just trying to basically become a better runner, because that hasn't really been my focus the past few months in terms of the gym. I think building up strength in my joints will become really helpful. I have a few bits from the physio as well which I've been doing, which have been really helpful for in terms of like strengthening my feet and stuff like that, but I think just kind of digging into the real nitty gritty of strength training mobility is going to really help keep me as fresh as possible. I don't think I'm going to feel particularly fresh with the amount of training that I think I'll be doing, but I think trying to aim for as fresh as possible is quite a realistic goal for me. I'm really lucky in that my boyfriend actually cooks most of my meals. So I kind of normally will do breakfast and then he'll do lunch and dinner. So he'll do the complicated stuff and I'll do the nice kind of fun like yogurt bowls and things like that. So I'm really lucky in that I eat a lot of like really delicious, quite wholesome meals. However, I am quite partial to a pastry or two and I love a sweet treat and I love a pudding, which obviously nothing wrong with that, that's great, especially if you are running, because obviously you need more carbs and stuff. However, when I've been eating a lot of those sorts of foods, I would say it makes me feel pretty bad. Like I feel really sluggish, I feel very heavy in my body, and I feel like I don't have much energy to run really. So I'm gonna, going forward, try and focus on filling my diet with a lot of like whole foods and wholesome stuff, and a lot of fruit and veggies and kind of whole proteins and things like that. Don't get me wrong, there'll still be the sweet treats. Actually, I just bought some hot cross buns that I'm really excited to try. Let me grab them. So it's these ones, the juicy blueberry ones from M&S. Love a hot cross bun. I'm so excited to try them. So there'll still be plenty of things like that in there, but I'm just basically gonna try and fill up on more stuff that's good for me really. And hopefully dialing in my nutrition a bit will give me more energy and mean that I'm able to perform even better than I am at the moment. We're up close and personal for this one. And then I think my final kind of goal is just to have fun and document it all along the way. So I used to, when you first start running, it's really hard, and I never really believed people when they said they enjoyed it. And then I slowly started to enjoy it. And then I would say probably over the last 6 months, I now can really enjoy it, because I can kind of get to that point where, not always, but I can kind of tune out of what's going on in my body and have a look at what's going on around me, especially because I like trail running, so the surroundings are often quite nice. I find it so fun, like being outside and seeing all the scenery, it's so fun. And I don't want to lose that in kind of the long days and hard sessions I have planned. Over the past few months I've really come a long way with that, and I want to keep that going. I think also as well, actually starting this YouTube channel has been really fun. It's such like a fun hobby, and it's really nice to look back on some of the places I've been and things I've seen, and share it with kind of like my family and the community of people I have here. So yeah, I think when I was first getting into running, I really looked to people on YouTube for kind of inspiration, and I never ever thought that I'd be able to complete an ultra, and here I am now signed up for one. So I think it will be really good to share kind of the highs and lows of the training journey on here, and it will be really nice for me to look back and hopefully see how I completed my first one. I'm planning on sharing quite a lot on here over the next few months, both in terms of like my usual long runs, kind of chattier content, but also like weekly roundups of my training and how I'm structuring it and how I'm feeling as we go through. So yeah, hopefully a lot to look forward to in terms of content coming. But that moves me on now to the race reveal. So the race that I've entered is the Wydene Ultra. It's 59 kilometres, which I think is about 36 miles, and it starts in Wales, so it's in a place called Ross-on-Wye, and then it follows some national trails all the way down to Chepstow. Like I said, it's going to be a group of us doing it, so we're hoping for about 15 people in total, and it runs alongside a relay. So there's a relay going on at the same time, which I think is 6 segments or something like that. But it's basically marshalled completely separately. They did it last year and apparently it was really great, very successful and things like that. So I feel like I'm in safe hands. It seems like a really friendly kind of like run company, which is one of the things that I really enjoyed about the marathon I did last year, was that kind of like small race feel. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I think, like I said, I've got quite a solid plan. And when I did my marathon last year, I felt like I could have gone a lot further at the end. So I'm really excited to see what I can do this time. I think there's about 1,600 metres of elevation across the whole course. So it's kind of undulating, I think. There's no massive climbs and there's no massively flat bits. The race entry was actually only £45, so it was actually very affordable. If you're looking for a cheaper ultra, they can get up into the hundreds of pounds. Like some of the other ones I was looking at were £150 entry, which is quite a lot, like especially if you've got other, like most people have other expenses in life. So yeah, I definitely recommend having a look at their website and seeing. The run company is called Rogue Runs, and it's called the Wydene Ultra. But I'm really excited to get started with my training. As always, I'll share it with you guys, the highs and the lows of the 6-month build. Thanks for watching.